everything is torqued, 18 foot-pounds, red Loctite on certain things, blue Loctite on other things. We're gonna put the front seal on. Alright, so we've been focusing mainly on the time lapses, but we got the entire front end on. Nice thin little layer of the high temp RTV. Everything torqued down to about 18 foot-pounds, all of these. Now, before anybody says anything about cleanliness, what I like to do is I'll degrease everything and then take it down to the car wash and just absolutely blast everything. We got the cam and crank sensors plugged in. We're going to be doing the AC while this is out. Now, I didn't want to touch anything to do with the AC while there was still dowels and there was no cam in there, because all it takes is for, oops, I accidentally hit one of these and now there's a tappet in the, in the bottom. So they're all in, as you can see. Now remains the fun task of getting these things all out. They are an absolute pain in the ass to get out, but that means you did your job well, because if they were easy to get out, all it takes is a little tap and then they're in the oil pan. So we're also going to do the valve adjustment while the engine is apart like this, because it just makes my life easier. I don't got to go up, down, up, down. The AC compressor's right here. But this thing should be 100% done today. I just want to get all of the RTV dry, so we're going to let it sit for about 24 hours, and then he's coming to pick this thing back up tomorrow. So I'll continue with the time lapses for you guys, and this will be your last video on this one, anything to do with the front case. Got to figure out the best way to get these things out. I usually use a pair of vice grips and just yank and kind of like pry on them, but obviously you don't want to get wood chips and whatnot. We're going to vacuum everything out from the top, throw the dowels, or throw the push rods back in, and basically do our valve adjustment that way. All right, so I got all the bolts clean. You guys can see that. We're gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on every one of them, because this is aluminum, these are steel, and then they go into the cast iron. And yeah, it's just not great. We're also gonna clean this surface up a little bit right here. These things are great. Just make sure that when you use them, you use it a couple of times before you start using it on random surfaces, because once you start wearing this down, it won't take material off. But if you try to use one of these brand new, it will absolutely take material off. Be careful with that. But once you wear them down a little bit, it only takes off what it's supposed to. So keep that in mind. Never put these bolts in with the corrosion on them. You guys saw the before shot of it. Just keep that in mind. So we got the old gaskets off. We got the new O-rings on, and it actually came with extras because he got the whole kit. So there you go. So I'm gonna install this AC compressor, and keep in mind this might be under pressure, so this is gonna go boom when it comes off. So, got the new one in. It's missing a bolt on the bottom because for some reason, the one that was on here, somebody cut it and the bottom bolt completely missing with that rear main leak. But we got everything on, everything's lined up. No problems there. This line is so seized in there. So we gotta get that pulled off. Probably gonna end up pulling the battery tray because I don't think I'm gonna be able to get the orifice tube. We'll see, but it's this line here because there's a spring inside of it. So if you guys wanna get your AC stuff, you need to get this kit here in order to pull those off. There's a clip. One thing I don't like about these clips is they hold in moisture and you get all that corrosion. Usually I just throw them out, but it's one of those, like, it's a lose-lose, but like, look at that. I can barely even twist it. I was able to twist it up. See that? That's how much you get, but you can hear the crunching in there. So that spring is definitely shot. You can see all this glitter here. So slowly working at it. After we get this line on, we're done with the AC. And then when we get the condenser on, obviously we're replacing all of these guys here too. And then after that, I'm gonna start working on getting these things out because those are gonna be fun. All right, so here's where we're at. We got the valve adjustment done, spun the motor over, made sure everything was good. When you put these push rods in, you need to make sure that they actually go down in. There's a few of them where you miss the hole and it drops the whole way down. Obviously, it's not gonna go anywhere, farther than it can. Just grab a magnet, pick it back out. It's not a big deal. Happens all the time. I got a bottom bolt for that, and unfortunately, we are gonna have to replace this line because this thing is so corroded and shit, so we're gonna end up pulling the entire thing. Battery terminal's gotta come off, the fender liner's gotta come off. Yeah, this whole thing's just gonna get shifted to the side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get everything done up here first, and then now that we're done on the engine side, I gotta get the lower rad hose on order. He did say we're gonna be doing a fuel filter as well, so I gotta get that, and then once we're all done, go buy some coolant. I should have a bunch in stock, but yeah, coolant, everything's tightened up over here. We got the cam and crank sensor in place, and that should be pretty much it. So I'm gonna get this whole surface cleaned here and start throwing the valve cover gaskets on. All right, I didn't want to keep you guys in too much suspense. I started throwing everything back together. Make sure, see those in there? Make sure that after you've moved your transmission cooler around, that you come down here and you make sure that you hear a click or two, because if you don't, customer will be driving down the road and you're gonna hear no noises and your transmission's just gonna start slipping and tranny fluid's gonna go everywhere because they'll pop off. Ask me how I know. I've had it happen on my own truck, but just going through and checking all that. So everything's on the front end. This is all back down. We got the little ball back behind there, so we have a hood latch. We're getting closer. We're gonna be throwing the intake tube on soon. This side I'm gonna leave off because I gotta get that part on order. I've just been pretty much just getting stuff done. I didn't want the ratio of time lapses to me working on the truck, you know, I wanted to keep it pretty good. So we're gonna put the bumper on first, then we're gonna get the intercooler on, get the condenser on, get this line all up with the new seal. I'm actually gonna take this off because so that way you guys don't think I'm gonna reuse it. Plenty of brand new stuff down here. See right there? Got those guys. So other than that, once the intercooler's on, we got the 13 mil bolts. Usually these are 10 mil. I don't know why they're 13 on this truck, but usually they're 10 millimeter. And then we got to find a new bolt for this guy here. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit, but I had to, I took the vice grip and just spun it out. Came out no problem. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So then I got to put that little clip down in here. Yeah, that goes right there. See that? 03s are a weird truck because you get like this thing over here, and then it's got a clip down here, and it's got a clip right here, and then it bolts in right here, and fun. So there you go. It's coming together. Look, it's Bambi. Bambi. I'm gonna try to call Bambi over here. Nope, you gonna run? All right, whatever. All right, so pulled the battery tray, pulled the battery. Battery's over there disconnected. And you can see we got the line right there. Once you pull the battery tray, it'll pull out. There's 2 bolts in the front, 2 on the top, 2 in the front, 2 in the bottom. You gotta pull this guy here. Every bolt was in it, thankfully. So that means I don't gotta go get my own bolts. I actually do keep those bolts in stock in case people need them, but yeah, this is gonna go right to scrap. We're gonna replace it with the nice brand new one, and with this battery tray out of the way, I can actually, you know, put the liner where it's supposed to be. Whereas on my truck, I did mine the lazy way. I just pushed the battery box out of the way. But yeah, so nice new orifice tube in there. So a lot of times you can just pull them out and replace them, but I don't have needle nose pliers that get down that far, so just gonna replace them. Yeah, that thing fits so atrociously. Oh, that was awful. It was like too long. It's rubbing up against this. I'm gonna let him know, but that's pretty much where we're at with it. Like, it all fit and whatnot, but I feel like that one was like 2 inches longer than what the original one was. So we got it all in the factory clips. Gonna try to get it in the bottom one as well. Let him know to watch that. All right, so everything's done. She's all back together. Intake's on. We're just filling it now with coolant. I'm gonna let this thing sit overnight, and then I'll let you guys hear it run tomorrow, because let the RTV dry, let it all settle and all that, so that way we don't have any leaks. And then we'll back this thing out. I'm gonna let him know that he's good to come pick it up tomorrow. Obviously, I'm gonna let you guys hear it tomorrow, but just wanna let you guys know we're doing diesel repair out here in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Yeah, what more do you really need to know? So, see you guys tomorrow. All right, so we're changing the fuel filter out. Where'd my light go? Oh, it's right here. Losing it. It's a bunch of stuff at the bottom. We're gonna vacuum all that out, clean it out, and then replace it with the Baldwin filter. Like I said, if you're running an OEM filter design, I like these Baldwins. A lot of guys will tell you, hey, you need to do these upgrades, this and that. And honestly, the trucks that last the longest, I've noticed, are the ones that are kept completely 100% stock. Obviously run good quality filters and whatnot, but I mean, to each their own, in my opinion. The guys will run the fast, the air dogs, the secondary filters, this and that, cat filter swaps, this and that. In my opinion, I think the trucks that last the longest are the ones that are kept completely stock. Now, with that being said, my truck is not completely stock, but stock tuning, stock pretty much everything, all the boring stuff, I feel like these are okay. I see guys getting a lot of miles out of their injectors with them, so this is the filter I like to run. You can also run the wicks, but I personally have a preference for my Baldwin filters. So this one's nice and clean. We'll throw that in there. We're gonna take this thing down to get pressure washed a little bit, so don't worry about any of the dirt. We're gonna be degreasing everything that we went over. That smudge at the bottom and cake and whatnot, all that's gonna get cleaned out. So one of the reasons I charge half an hour for these fuel filter changes is because you guys see all that shit. So what I like to do is I'll break it up with a screwdriver down in the bottom, just kind of like twist it up, get it all broken free, and then we'll hit it with the vacuum. Now, probably gonna spray some brake cleaner in there, really get all of the bullshit out, and then we'll vacuum it again, try to wipe it out with a microfiber, and then we'll have a good clean surface to throw this filter in. You guys saw the before. There's the after. All right, we got the fuel filter. Coolant is getting topped off slowly. Unfortunately, there was a mishap here where I jumped down and look at my leg. Wife's gonna bring me some spare jeans, but let's get this bitch started. All right, we got her running. I admit my mistake. You see that line back there? I forgot to put that on. So, whoops. I'm gonna get this thing backed up a little bit. I don't wanna get in because of my leg until my wife gets here, but we're gonna grab the degreaser and get this thing cleaned off for him. So we're just heading up to the wash bay now. Gotta get the coolant temp up. That way we can make sure it's bled and whatnot. I got an extra gallon of coolant down there in case we need it. I did top off the rad and the reservoir. So these things should be self-bleeding. Ninja 250 right there. Yeah, but she's running really good. This thing's genuinely got some pep to it. A lot of steering wander though. But yeah, she's running good. I'll show you guys the finished results, and then he's coming to pick it up at 10:30. All right, we're just letting her get all warmed up now. Gave her a good spray down. Look how nice that came out. We got all down in there. Don't spray the alternator. I do on my truck, but all down nice in there. Careful spraying the PCM. Look at all that, nice and clean. Got under there. So she's good to go. I'm gonna send them off with a gallon of coolant, just in case. We did get that change of pants, so don't worry about that. This thing's peppy. I'll tell you what, like, I just hit the throttle a little bit and it's like, man, it just wants to go. I'm gonna try to get this thing up to temp where the thermostat opens. And then, like I said, job like this, we do about 4 gallons of coolant, because 3 will top you off, but that extra little bit, the heavy duty stuff. But that's gonna do it for this video. Like I said, I got some news for you guys. I might make a video on the personal channel, but we're probably gonna be closing the shop at the end of this week. And then I'm gonna try to do a hot shot run. So if nobody books, I need to get some either big jobs in, or I need to just go and do a hot shot run. Gonna try to come up with another 10, 15-ish grand this month to fund some things. So we got a ton of projects going between buying those doors for Bertha, getting the Accord done, getting the bike done. I'm gonna say all said and done, I need about $10,000, $15,000 for all of that and into the shop. If we sell the trailer, that helps, but we got a bunch of stuff coming up, all right? A lot of good things, working on the personal channel. But if you guys do want to support me or my business and get quality work with warranty and this and that, it doesn't matter where in the country you come from. We've got people driving from Texas, Florida, I mean, New York. Like, this truck came from Maryland. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. The videos are probably going to be few and far between on this channel. I've been focusing a lot on the personal channel, but on here, I'm just trying to keep it strictly as business as possible. So we will be changing the business, the YouTube channel name here to the business name at some point. Don't worry, that's not going to change anything. We're still going to be the same CP Steve Miller, but it'll just be CP Logistics and Diesel Repair. Man, this thing just does not. I'd say we're good. This thing likes to chill. I'm gonna shut her down, and yeah, appreciate you guys for supporting.